My name is Nadia. I'm a postdoctoral scholar in Nevan Krogan's lab at UCSF. My interest is not just in cancer, but it's actually in cell signaling. So my first science experience was actually working on host-pathogen interactions and looking at the different needs of the host cell and what factors in the host cell contributed to a successful infection or even being permissive of infection. And in that work, I got experience, interacting with a lot of different cell signaling networks. And over time, I actually realized that it's these same cell signaling networks that pathogens tend to co-opt that are also dysregulated in cancer. They're all pro-proliferative, so they want to make the cell a nice, happy place. And that's also what cancer wants. It wants something nice and a great opportunity for growth. And so that kind of perspective is something that's driven me throughout my scientific career, is kind of disease agnostic, but looking at these systems that govern life, really. And so I went from host pathogen interactions into cancer. I did a lot of work at looking at dysregulation of cell signaling networks in cancer and how it's different than normal cells. But that disease agnostic perspective is what led me to the Krogan lab. And similarly, a focus on networks and how these networks are dysregulated in different disease states. And the emphasis on cancer is something I'm really passionate about. And I'm really excited about learning more right now. And so right now what we're doing is taking a bit more of a fine-tuned perspective and looking at how mutations, specific mutations, in different cancer-associated proteins contribute to cancer initiation and progression. I would love the research that we're doing to have both a fundamental biology impact as well as a translational biology impact. And I think actually a lot of the most successful research projects very seamlessly do that hand in hand. You discover something that's very fundamental to biology, and then being in an environment here that's so ingrained in the health sciences community, you're able to take it a step further and translate that into something therapeutic. So at least for my projects, I would love the opportunity to be able to take something we found in the lab and leverage that for either a novel modality or a novel therapeutic possibility that we could use in the clinic. I think some of my most successful projects or most impactful projects have been collaborative, because by the nature of it, you're bringing in really different expertise. And I think bringing that together is what makes science the most exciting. And I think that's the only thing that can give you the ability to transform a project into this, it can be a very simple, original idea into something much larger than what you could even imagine. I grew up in a really small town, and I knew I was interested in science, but I didn't know what options there were. Actually, the only options I knew were that of a doctor or a pharmacist. That's all I was exposed to. And it was at the encouragement of my high school biology teacher, who was you should really consider a career in research. And I actually had no idea what that meant. I didn't know what a scientist does. I had practically no idea what that really meant. And so she was the one that initially involved me in training in scientific research, and that literally fundamentally changed my career path. And so I think at every level training is super important. Even here at QBI and within CCMI, we have so many opportunities for training, and I think even small activities here and there have the potential to be really impactful for people, not just in their careers, but even in their day-to-day life in the lab, even inspiring each other to be better scientists. So I think there are a lot of ways that training has an impact on trainees. And yeah, it's great to be both on the receiving end of that and to be a mentor to younger scientists. I think we're at a very pivotal point in the scientific community, in precision medicine in particular. I think in the past decades, cancer treatment has progressed so phenomenally from these really broad approaches like chemo, and then we got targeted therapies that can target like one or a small number of proteins that are involved in cancer. And then recently, also due to work from really phenomenal researchers at UCSF, now we have inhibitors that are even more targeted, right? So just like mutant forms of proteins. And I think it's a really exciting time in science, because having been able to see that progression and looking forward into what comes next, I think there are a number of new therapeutic modalities that are on the, I think, edge of really breaking open the field and how we can treat cancer patients. And being involved in that, or even tangentially involved in that, is very, very exciting to me.